Friday, Friday, getting down on Friday. Just waiting for, there it is. Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show on a fabulous Friday. We've confirmed that we have sound. Alrighty. You are watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. I'm Coach Steve Money, a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And for my further other financial content, you can just scroll down past the Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show. Today is number 495 of those. And so a week from today probably will be the 500th episode, and on that I'll have one new song to debut, at least, maybe two, and I'll probably just sing the rest of them here. There are 11 in the music playlist, so listen to those so you'll be ready to sing along on the next Friday. Market report. Hey, look, the market lives. Everything might be fine. Yeah, S&P 500 rises but heads for worst week since September. Let's see. Dow Jones futures. Are the futures bad? No, they're positive. So what's that about? Let's see what that's about. Dow Jones futures, Trump tariff slump continues despite solid. Powell, what do we do now? What is he talking about that's solid? Solid as a rock. Let's see. Still sees a solid jobs market, okay? Fed Chief Jerome Powell said that. Still, Trump's tariffs news has whipsawed and unnerved markets. Yeah, because everybody's making way too much a big deal about it. But that's what they do in the news. They want to get the clicks and so forth, and I get that. I mean, I can't say anything. I'm trying to get them as well, but I'm not, trying to rabble rouse and make up stuff either. Most up today, of course, the NASDAQ. I tell y'all, don't sleep. S&P 500 people only. Do not sleep on the NASDAQ. And all of the top 6 single stocks on the Google are down except for Alphabet and Apple. So the rest of the planet did. Europe down, all down. Asia all down. Euro up over the US dollar. The yen, Japanese yen up over the US dollar. The British pound, though, up over the US dollar. US dollar, though, says sorry up over the Canadian dollar. And the US dollar says nar to Australia. Australia, mate. And not going to be down there, so that's the dealio on that. And again, futures are up, so I don't know what this thing is saying where they're down. They probably were down earlier in the day, but not now. Let's see if we have some interesting, no earnings in the next 14 days. Okay, so that's okay. I'm sure somebody will do something that creates some kind of thing in the market. What is it? Broadcom? I didn't know Broadcom. No, Broadcom didn't. Oh, let's take a look at it. Oh, maybe they were like last week or something like that. And so they beat earnings. Okay, and they're still going up. Okay, great. All right, gotcha. Figured it out. Amazon boycott today. The one, when was that? Last Friday or 2 Fridays ago? That did not work at all. Amazon ended up being 1% higher in sales that day than average. So Let's see. People are ditching their screens and unplugging this weekend. 9 ways to make cutting back easier. You know, I mean, that's fine for the kids who had them since birth, but I didn't have this lovely internet from birth, so I'm not gonna give up mine. Um, FDA lets chemicals poured in America's food supply. That's not very good. NVIDIA up 1.92. What else is, oh, Ford. Ford has been rising a lot lately. Let's see, in the last month, up, yeah, 7.14% in the last month. So don't know exactly what's going on there. Let's see what it says. GM stock can doubling it. Analyst says Ford, well, can't. Oh, okay, can't. All right. Palantir up big, 5.53%. That's a pharmaceutical company. Oh, and they have 2 AI enabled systems to the US Army. They do that too. I thought they were. What you talking about, Google? Let's see. I thought they were a pharmaceutical company. American publicly traded company that speculates and specializes in software platforms. Well, what am I thinking about? That is a okay. All right, my bad. That's my bad. So they are probably going to be in your large cap as well, and in your Nasdaq. And that's why you don't want to sleep on the Nasdaq. And so I think that's everything we need from there. Do I have any articles today? No, I don't. Okay. All right, let's get to some questions. Oh, I ignored my chat. I am so sorry about that. What up, Die? Do you feel better? The rest drink product. Oh, I thought you were talking about medicine earlier when I was talking about, yeah, what I do is I do the NyQuil and I just try to sleep through the rest of the cold symptoms until they're gone. But yeah, Sid is getting electrolytes and such. Much better. Yeah. Sid and baby, all good, which is excellent, of course. This from Technical Raccoon 40, 28-year-old, paid off my second home. Beans and rice the last 10 years. That's a long time for beans and rice. So, you know, probably too long. So, and that can happen though if you have bought too much house. And so, or you have some other expenditure that is too much for your amount of income. But I mean, they did it. So they did the sacrifice they needed to do. So you have to be willing to make the sacrifice when you want to keep second homes, that kind of thing. I feel a massive weight off my shoulders. Gonna just enjoy life and keep sucking up rental properties. Oh, but that's second home though. That's not rental properties. On top of investing, it was totes worth the hard work. I don't recommend taking on 2 mortgages. Right, me neither. Mr. Ramsey either. And that wouldn't be on a rental property. It would just be on a residence and not on a second residence. Second residence is a toy, like a vacation home. That's a toy. Guess what? You're paying all cash in that. On that. A couple times I did have renters not paid right and dealt with that stress. Sure. Luckily, I got good tenants now. I have a 0606 Toyota that I've had forever. I may upgrade it as my little gift to myself. All right. Well, you know, they're there. They got there. So great. And at 28, doing better than most people. Let's see. J11866. Pay off car or rental property or sell. you would sell the rental property to pay off the car, or vice versa. If paying off the car will get you enough, you have enough equity in the car to pay off the rental property, which is probably not the case. Simple question. Car is at a percentage rate I don't care about. 60K balance. What an idiot. No loans. No loans on cars. No loans at all. Except if you're taking out a mortgage for a personal residence, or you are taking out a much smaller loan to cover what you're underwater so that you can get out of a much bigger loan on a car, that kind of thing. Rental property, blah, blah, blah. 415K remaining, property worth $800,000. 4-unit building. The car has basically 5K of interest if I let it go to term. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't think that financing or borrowing money is going to be free from the lender, did you? And would save me $1,300 a month cash flow. The mortgage, if I throw $1,300 extra at it one time, would save me more than 6K in interest. Or sell rental, pay off car note, and invest the 300K in the market. 300K, I can easily make $1,500 a month in dividends. You don't chase dividends without making sure you're also going to come out ahead overall. So a lot of people chase dividends, and it does the stock doesn't, or even mutual fund doesn't make as much as other ones do, even when you add the dividends in. Rental gross is 5K, and mortgage expenses are 3,600. Mortgage expenses 3,600. So yeah, so that's 5K, and so yeah, so that's 1,400 profit a month. That's still not that much. That's like what, 15,000 a year you're making on that. So yeah, you're not supposed to do that. So yes, you would sell both. If you are doing the Ramsey advice, you undo the dumb stuff you would have done that would not be advised, which is to get a mortgage on a rental property or to finance a car. Both of those things are no, and so to fix it, you can do that. Now, if it was more of it sounds like this is a recent buy on the car, and you know, if you maybe had, you know, less than a year left on the car, maybe you do keep it and pay it off really quickly. And now if you love the car, that's fine to sell the rental property, but you should not be having that mortgage, and that's going to keep you back. That's going to hold you back on the baby steps to keep that rental property on a mortgage, because that's a nar from Mr. Ramsey. Let's see, no other debt besides 2 other properties that are below 3% mortgages not paying. So why bother ask then? If you're not going to follow the Ramsey advice, why ask on the Dave Ramsey subreddit? That's pretty dumb. All right, what is paycheck to paycheck? Paycheck to paycheck is when you run out of money. The best case scenario, you run out of the money day before or the morning of paycheck, and that's paycheck to paycheck. That means you don't have extra money. You have no buffer. You have no emergency fund. 34 man, and not really great with budgeting and whatnot. Budgeting is not whatnot. It really feels like for him, live paycheck to paycheck. You probably do. The money that, oh no, there's no more, my bad. The money that hits my account all goes out. Well, that would be why you would be budgeting it. That's why you have to budget it. and you have to take a look and see where all that money is going, and then you stop some of it from going out when it's going out to dumb stuff. I've only recently started getting money into an emergency fund. Great. I do have about 300K invested between my 401K and brokerage account and 500K in home equity. So what you would do is you would take some out of the brokerage account. And yep, you'll pay taxes on the gains. If it's your contributions, you can take that out. So that's what I would do on that. But then if you have any other debt, you'd be doing, oh, the only debt you have is a mortgage. So yeah, so you're good after that. So take that out where you can get to it. It can't be in a brokerage account because emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days for a transfer. And actually, it can take longer than that even, because first you got to sell it on the day, and then that doesn't get processed right that second. So that takes some time, and then 1 to 3 days for a transfer from your brokerage to your bank account. So that's a NAR on that for your emergency fund. On the mortgage, living like this still considered. Is living like this still considered paycheck to paycheck? Yes. Yes, it is. Because you have put where you wouldn't feel that way if you had an emergency fund in your checking account or in a special savings account for your emergency fund. You might not feel like that. And also, you are probably spending money on dumb stuff, even regardless of not having an emergency fund. So yeah, that's still paycheck to paycheck. Edit about 130K of the 300 is in my brokerage account. Of 300 of what? Oh, between, I see, 130, and so 170s in the 401K. I have an HSA with about 4K, and my emergency fund only has about 1,400. Okay, well, you need to get that up to 3 to 6 months of expenses. So as I said, I would take that out of your brokerage account, and your stupid tax for doing it wrong is the amount of, well, you won't have to pay any taxes on it because it's a brokerage account. So you're not like taking it early out of retirement account. So no penalty. You just have to pay taxes on gains, which if you haven't taken any money out of that before, you would just be taking out however much you need for a 6-month emergency fund. Since you do have a mortgage, I would recommend 6 months. And so you would take that out and you don't have to pay taxes on that. So, and so that you don't have to pay any stupid tax. You just basically, you doing it wrong. So you got the extra money, but since it's all gone, since it's in house equity, may have bought too much house, we don't know. It's in house equity and it's in your 401K. It should be there. The brokerage account, no, you shouldn't be doing extra investing until the house is paid off. So that would be a no as well. So you should just take all of it out. And some can be your emergency fund and the rest you put to your mortgage. So, but people don't like to do that. They like to have debt and have extra savings on top of that, extra investing as well. That's very normal for people. And so, but the good thing is that he's feeling like he's living paycheck to paycheck. And so maybe he'll change what he's doing. Who knows? How many? 63 comments for him. So somebody probably told him the right advice. Sid's last flu, slept for a week. Yep. I mean, that's what I do too. I don't try to fight it and try to, oh, I got to do this. I got to get this accomplished and this and this and this and this while I have the flu. I'm like, all right, I'm out. Cancel everything. An oopsie about 529s from the show last week. Uh-oh. Did George and Rachel say something wrong about it? We're talking to a caller who had called in stating that their brother had opened a 529 for their nephew. George and Rachel seemed aghast that the uncle didn't sign over the 529 to the parents. Yeah, because they requested it so they could put money in it too. Let's get some language cleared up. Owner who legally owns the account. This is a relative to the beneficiary who gets the money from the account for their school expenses. While all states allow you to change the beneficiary easily, whether you can change the owner depends on the state regulations. Yep, that makes sense. Every state has different 529 regulations. Some states do not allow you, right? To make it simple, all right. So this person knows more than the host, apparently. A9 FM doc, all right. $265,000 in student loans. Need advice. I am finishing up my last year in a medical residency and will be starting my next job in July. Currently, I have $265,000. You said so in the title, in federal student loan, with the bulk of that being grad plus loans with high interest. I am currently enrolled in SAVE, but obviously, with changes coming to the student loan system, wanted to get advice on payment. Well, you would be paying it off. I mean, you're not done yet, though. So are you, since you're still in residency, you might be making decent coin, but basically you would be living like a broke college kid and putting everything else towards the loan. Loans. Let's see. Plus, I do not think I will qualify for IBR starting in July. I don't know what that is. Probably some kind of program or something like that where they get a break on it or something like that. Reimbursement, maybe. Something like that. Something about reimbursement. Starting in July, so once my new salary takes effect. Okay, so once your new salary takes effect, if you get through residency, that's what is it? It is March, so that's April, May, June, July. So you got 4 more months. So theoretically, if you made it this far, you would get through it, but it's not 100% guaranteed. So, but the way people talk and think about this stuff is that, oh yes, I definitely 100% will be making that much money. I plan to apply for federal state loan payment program, which will provide approximately $295,000 a year. Since I will be working in an underserved area, program is an initial 3-year program with an option to add additional years. My goal each month is to match plus add an extra. Dave would just tell you to pay it. I mean, I guess if you move it around and it doesn't cost you money to do that, I mean, I guess you can do that. The problem with like doing that's just like debt consolidation, where that takes some of the fire out of you to get rid of it. And so it takes you longer to get it paid off. Match plus, I said that. In addition to what they give me to pay off loans completely in a 3 to 4 year time period. Fabulous. Do that. My question, should I stay within the federal systems or should I refinance with a private company for a lower fixed rate? That's a good question. I mean, it's not going to be forever. It's only 3 or 4 years. So again, you got to stop, doing this behavior of just moving debt around and just pay it off. Note, I did not plan to do personal student loan forgiveness even before the new legislation, as I did not want this debt around for 10 years. That's fabulous. Baby step 2, no other debts. Great. We'll have a house mortgage. You would not. You would not do that. No, you would not do that. All that money goes to the student loans. So that part is more important than you're wanting to move it around and stuff to save a little bit on interest, that kind of thing. So yeah, you're planning on doing it wrong. Pay will be $350,000 if that's what happens. We always in motion is the future to bring back Yoda. It always goes back to Star Wars. Everything goes back to Star Wars. Will be closer to 400K after a year. Not not only counting the 350,000 as definitely going to happen, but then the next year after that, and then it's going to be 400, and it's like I already have it. No, it's not. So no house mortgage until you get that student loan paid off, all those student loans paid off. And also your full emergency fund first, and then the down payment, and then at that point, that's when you get the mortgage. Otherwise, of course, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, baby. Another loan. Hope they're not happy about the loan. Guy says almost $300,000 in loans. Can't even imagine it. Yeah. Had a car on that and he's 300K. Yeah. Yep. Says no other debts though. So that part is good, but the rest of it and planning to buy a mortgage while still having that those loans, that's a nar from Mr. Ramsey and myself, of course. Another loan. Hey guys. It actually says, hey guys, this time. I've gotten myself into trouble again. How dare you? With me too, for making into 2 words. Into is 1 word. Trouble again. Yes, again. Yep. You're supposed to, so you see, you're supposed to learn the first time. And best case scenario is that you learn without doing it at all because, oh, I don't know, maybe somebody named Dave Ramsey screwed up by borrowing money. And then he figured out, oh, that's not a good thing to do. And somehow you're on the subreddit that has his name on it. So maybe you heard about his story. And then if you hear about him, then maybe you know that you shouldn't be doing that dumb crap, even though you want something right now instead of saving up for it first. I have been a degenerate gambler. Yeah, that'll do it for you too. And so it's bad enough when you gamble away money that you have, money that you make from your job, any savings you have, that's bad enough. But then when you go into debt to do dumb ass gambling, that's even worse for sure. With great credit, yeah, I mean, you will have great credit if you're constantly taking out loans and paying back on it. Taking out loans and lines of credit several times with a facade of getting lucky and essentially rich. I've tackled $15,000 loans 4 times. Yeah, so apparently it doesn't work. So, I mean, is that, you mean a facade of it? That means it looked like you were doing that? Or do you mean with a delusion that you were going to get lucky and essentially rich? So I don't know exactly what he means there. I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, lost it all. Yeah. Yeah. Dumb. Pretty dumb. Don't do it again. So I've been clean from gambling for 2 years now. Great. And was debt free except for my mortgage. Just last month, I took out a $30,000 loan, but this time I tried the stock market, and that's gambling too if you're day trading. If you aren't putting that in investments that you have spent many, well, maybe not many. It's not that many hours that you need to, but you need to take a look at it. But you wouldn't be doing single stocks either, so that's bad too. Day trading, that is gambling, right? That's the exact same thing. You saw it, you looked at that the same way, and you gave yourself a pass on it because it was not like a casino gambling. It was gambling in the stock market. So you did it wrong. Let's go ahead and open up the rest of it. Where are we? 30. Yeah, 30. Where are we? Yeah, day trading. Yep. Saw some early success, piddling around with no more than 15% of the loan on day trades. So yeah, so just took out a loan to gamble with it. So that's not, I mean, that's not any of the advice. That's not any being smart at all. It's all dumb as crap. But just addicted to the adrenaline from gambling, maybe something like that. Just likes it a lot. Even though all 30,000 was on my trading platform. So I thought I was a professional. You're not. Very low percentage of them make money in the long term. And decided to go big. Of course you did, which was dumb as crap. That's the same thing you did with gambling. Sure. You don't see the pattern? So a shorted a stock and a short squeeze happened almost instantly. I got margin calls and had to sell for 100% loss. That's what you get. Sorry. That's what you get for being dumb. How many times does that have to happen? And you can't stop yourself? I mean, I guess if you need counseling to stop, you need counseling to stop, but it was dumb. 30,000 got done. Shot myself in the foot again. I make about $130,000 yearly between my side business and day job. And yes, if you make more money, that just allows you to get in way more trouble. And that can hide, a high income can hide dumb crap like this for longer, which makes the problem worse. However, I was injured on the job a week after I lost the bank's 30,000. That's not the bank's 30,000, my friend. That's your 30,000 that you have to pay back. It's been over a month, and workers' comp has taken on my case. However, they are a hassle. Hey man, that's gonna happen. You think you're gonna get hurt, and then somebody just throws a bunch of money at you? That's not how it works. They have yet to pay me my 66% weekly paycheck. So I'm falling behind on my loans. Hey, you know what? This is the exact reason why the guy whose subreddit you are on says no loans. No. It's to a point where it's going to start affecting my credit. Wah. And that's an A for affecting, not E on this. So with my bright mind, yeah, I am considering filing bankruptcy on the $30,000 loan. 18,000 remaining after cleaning out my savings. Oh, that's good. Payments are $900 a month. I am a bonehead. Yep, I understand that part. Bankruptcy logical in this situation. Bankruptcy is always going to be the last possible option. And you probably have other options. Like, hey, I got a great idea. Do some other kind of work that you can do with your current injury if you are still injured. So, it's the dealio on that. Hey, don't take out loans, kids. Mortgage for your residence is different. Accurate range 7825 house financing. What about it? Considering building house, everybody likes to build, everybody loves to do that, even though that costs more money. With my soon-to-be finance, I got a great idea. Get married first before you start intermingling the monies. For this, please assume our relationship is strong. Doesn't matter, you're not married. Stop being dumb with your little crap of please assume our relationship is strong. And everybody thinks their relationship is strong. Everybody thinks it's going to work out when they intermix finances. Stop being dumb. Is really nothing to worry about with the planning all of this, as if our finances are grouped when we do not currently have a shared account. I am wanting to hear from you guys how ready we are to build, or if waiting is recommended. Yeah, wait till you get married. Yes, 100% sure. Doesn't matter how strong. Does not matter how strong. Because everybody thinks that when they start to do dumb crap like this. So in total, we have $36,716.85 of my own money that is liquid. Parents have also said they are willing to give me a loan. No loans with family or friends. Do we not learn anything from the Ramsey show? Everybody thinks that they're the exception, and this person thinks they're the exception with not being married and also with getting a loan from parents. No. Quit it. Everybody wants to believe this is going to be all okay. We have a strong relationship, and I'm going to take the loan from my parents because I don't want to wait. Because I'm impatient. I want it now, 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 now. Is this from Veruca Salt? Which will be taken out of my bonus in a 2.5K increments over the next 4 years. We have a family business. Oh, great. More crap you're involved in. I mean, if you're just treated like an employee there as far as finances, that's fine. I can easily save $1,500 every month, and my girlfriend can save $1,000, and she has $18,000 liquid. I think in this I should be prepared to spend up to $300,000. Well, you didn't say what the combined income is, and again, I'm going on the assumption you're going to wait until you're married, because that would be the smart thing to do. Oh, here it is. We collectively make $165,000 before taxes. A mortgage for that would be fine then. For that to be the mortgage amount, and especially if you put money down, that lowers that 300,000. Oh, that's before taxes. My bad. Boop boop boo doo. So that might be a little bit too much house then. The only other money that is not accounted for is retirement money, which I am not willing to touch. Well, you wouldn't take that out anyway for anything. I do have a car I don't need that I could sell for 7.5K or more. I could probably grab the lots I am looking at for 35K. Given all of this information, what would you guys do? Would you buy the lots? No. Then wait a year or take out a loan and batch it all together? No. Or would you guys just not do any of this? I would not do any of it until you get married, and then after you get married, if you still want to do this, which again is going to be unless you're building the house yourself, you're going to be paying extra money than buying one that's already built, even with the land. So, yeah. So, yeah, you don't do that while you're not married. Sorry, it doesn't matter. Try to get in front of it and say, please assume our relationship is strong. That doesn't change jack squat, my friend. And yes, in your situation, of course it will work. And that's what everybody thinks. So that's a no from Mr. Ramsey, no from me. Doubling it. Boom, 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 boom. Die had to bounce. Sorry about that. Die. Definitely get sleep and feel better. You have a good weekend too. Routine resident 732. Today I feel hopeful. I've dialed in my budget, even with a few expenses that messed with my budget, and managed to find an extra $1,000 to throw at baby step 2 in the past week. Great, that's how it's supposed to work. I finally have hope that this will end sooner than I expect. $14,000 to go. I am not very religious, but I know a lot of you are. Please pray for me. Well, I mean, if you want us to pray for you, you can pray for yourself too, even though you're not religious. If you wish. Oh, Oh, only if we wish. All right. Thanks for leaving it up to us. Appreciate it. I see the end in sight and need to hit that goal. And so here's where I tell people that all that's great, what you're doing and saying, all that's great. Now you got to make it happen. I will be independent, Miss Independent, Miss Self-Sufficient, Miss Keeps Her Distance. Skylar Clarkson, written by Christina Aguilera, I believe, in her writing team, and she decided not to do it. I will be independent and free. Love you all who are walking on this path. Have a beautiful week. Hey, you too. So, yep, all that's great. Just got to make it happen. Practical eggplant 68. What's an impractical eggplant, I wonder? That's interesting. Making the decision to pay off pharmacy school debt, question mark. High earners, healthcare providers, chime in. Okay, the problem is that, okay, see, here's the problem as well with this. I have a problem with everybody, apparently. Here's the problem with this. It doesn't matter if it's pharmacy school debt. Debt is debt. You're not special because you went to pharmacy school or because you have pharmacy school debt. The advice is not different for high earners. A lot of them want it to be and think it should be, for sure. And then you don't have to be a healthcare provider either. You don't have to do that. That doesn't matter. Now, granted, most of them with a bunch of debt will probably agree with you. But if you just want somebody to agree with you, why waste your time with that? Why not just do what you want to do? Anyway, so I've made the decision to get out of public service loan forgiveness. Fabulous. And try to pay off the loans on my own. That's great. That's a good decision. I wonder what went into that. Listening to Dave and killing all my credit card debt last year after getting married. I feel like, for me, this has to be done. Good call. I got a great chunk taken off by being in the National Health Sciences Core repayment program. I took a risk into the 3-year contract and they deposited $25,000 per year up front. Great. I'm down to $150K in loans. I can see why he doesn't like those programs, but it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all according to your desired route in healthcare. Sure it is. Sure it is. The idea is that you should be prepared to completely pay off any loan that you take out. Now, if you're trading, you're trading something for the money that they gave you, though. So that's you working for it. I don't know necessarily that he doesn't like that, except that maybe it limits you to where you can work. That was the only thing I can think of. So I won't claim to speak for him and know exactly what he would be thinking on that. But, you know, regardless, you already did it. We can't change it, so we work with what you have going on today. And yes, the advice is one size fits all. And again, people don't want it to be. People really, really don't want it to be. People love to be. You know, it's society's fault, really. Media, etc., etc. With all the, you know, everyone's unique, everyone's special. No. Not in that case anyway. Not in the case of financial decisions. Everybody's not. Everyone doesn't want to work retail. So again, that's not going to be an excuse to go into debt. Although I'm sure most people, because that does cost a lot of money to do anything medical, usually costs a lot of money to do. And you can make a lot of money in that. But guess what? Again, how many people sign up for those loans and then they don't graduate? So it can't be for, oh, well, I'm going to graduate. I graduated. And so you need to change the entire advice because it worked for me. And until you get completely done with it, it didn't work for you. Everyone doesn't work to retail, or nor does it actually pay more in the long run compared with shift differentials and overtime pay. That clinic justification station here. Justification station here. I felt like for me, I was stifling my career development in pharmacy and missing opportunities for better companies and pay, staying in the nonprofit for repayment program. All right. And see, that's another reason why you don't do that. So you don't want to do pharmacy. Oh, by staying with the company. Okay. So you don't want to do pharmacy. She just wants to make more money doing it. More money including the 25K per year, and it would still be more money somewhere else. All right. Anyway, I'm missing opportunities for better companies and pay, staying in the non-profit for repayment program, cash flowing my MBA this spring, and also, I mean, probably with, in the medical field, probably an MBA almost certainly will mean more money. And, whether it's going to be worth how much it costs, that I don't know. This person would know that better than me. Pursuing a management path, and with my wife on board, we can have that knocked out in 2.5 years. If you're cash flowing it, or you just mean the time it'll take to finish the MBA? All right. Or the time to cash flow it. Does anyone have any experience pausing retirement to go on and knock out the loans? They should. Anybody following Dave's advice would do that because, hey, look at this. Look at this. Oh, look, it's the baby steps again. And imagine that. You can find your answers, or basically what will just rip the heart out of your little comment. Baby step 2 is pay off all debt, and your student loan counts that. Doesn't matter that you think it's important or hashtag justified. Doesn't matter, but step 4 is 2 past that. And so you do not do any investing yet. You just do all that. So, yep, you're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it wrong. Will it come out in the wash? No one knows. No, I mean, the sooner you start investing, the more money you make, obviously, over the long term. So I don't know that. I don't know what's going to happen with your extra career like that. When people do the numbers, they don't say, okay, let's do the numbers if none of this works out for me. And then they call the Ramsey show because none of it worked out for them. And then guess what the advice is? The advice is to follow the freaking baby steps, just like everybody else. You're not special. Does anyone have experience on, pausing retirement to go on and knock out the loans? You should. You shouldn't be doing it now if you are. Will it all come out in the wash? Who knows? And is there anyone who was in a repayment program but exited to take things into our own hands? I'm sure there is, but not necessarily in this forum. 9 comments in there, so perhaps. So yeah, I didn't know why he got out of the repayment program. I thought it was because of just wanting to be done with debt, but no, it was so that they wouldn't be locked into that particular institution they were in. And so they could go somewhere else. Crafty Pie 302, pay off low interest student loan or invest. All right, again, I'm not even going to read it because none of your crap here matters. None of it matters at all. None of it matters at all. And so, I mean, if it was a show like where you were calling in, sure, I would let you say all this dumb crap, and then the advice would still be the same. So, you see, kids, once more, 2 in a row here. Step 2 is right here. Step 4 is after that. And yeah, it doesn't say, I mean, this person may somehow in their mind think, oh, I'm supposed to do all of these steps all at the same time, which seems illogical to me, but regardless, Maybe they don't know, so they just have to be told, and you do steps 1, 2, and 3 one at a time without even thinking about higher steps. So there's no investing until you get the debt paid off and you have your full emergency fund saved. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong. I want to know if this is a good idea. Oh, the net profit, and so balancing the interest. Interest doesn't matter. Interest doesn't matter. So, you're not, the interest never figures in to the Ramsey advice, ever. Peer profession, 1795, life balance, investing versus living life. What about the now? What about, oh, I want it? Quit whining. Baby step 5 and mapping out a plan to purchase a newer car in a few years. If it's going to be a used car, that's fine. What's the problem? I thought you were going to want to do something crazy and spend a ton of money. And so you're supposed to do both at the same time. Once you're on baby step 4, you can put anything in the budget you want to. You can cash flow anything you want. You can do a sinking fund for vacation, stuff like that. So you can do that. I thought you were going to try to do something crazy. Apologies from me. So a newer car, that's fine if that's important to you. That's not a need though. It's when people call it a need to upgrade car when there's nothing wrong with their car. It gets from A to B fine, so it's just a want. And that's fine on baby step 4. I can't help but think of the opportunity cost of investing those dollars rather than purchasing a new vehicle. Yeah, that makes more sense. If you don't need a newer vehicle, why get one? I'm not a car person though, so I'm sure a car person would be into doing that much more than me. My mind goes back and forth saying that I should enjoy life. You might enjoy life if you invest the money instead. You might be happier if you invest the money instead. If you want to upgrade car on step 4, you can do that. You are the one that chooses that. The problem though, as with everything, but also don't miss out on pyro compounding. The problem with that, like everything, is, and I say it all the time, people want to do everything all at the same time. And this is just 2 things, but it's still a good example because your dilemma here over it, you cannot do both at the same time. Now you can do half of it in one and half of it in the other. You can save up, make it a longer time to save up before you get the newer vehicle by investing some of the money. But otherwise, you can do that. So you're limited by the amount of income that you have. And so a lot of people want to do everything all the time. They're still on baby step 2. They have debt, and they want to invest, and they want to go on vacation, and they want to buy a house. They want to do all of it all at the same time. And they're trying to, even if they don't want to do it all exactly the same time, they're trying to plan it all out. You don't know how it's going to go on each step. You don't know how long for sure each step is going to take either. So you can't really do that. So that's really a waste of time. People love to do that. And I get it because you can't really do anything else on steps 1 and 2 and even 3. There's not much else to do except to, while you're trying to do something, you could just work to make more money to get ahead on the baby steps. But if you're not doing it, or if you are doing it, say you're working 60 hours a week, and then you come home and you're still thinking, what can I do to make this happen better, happen faster and stuff like that. That's when you start doing the projecting about, oh, well, then I want to do this, and then I want to do this, and then I want to do this. It's better to stay focused on what you are currently doing. And so you just have to pick the priority of these. And that is completely up to you, 100%, because you can live your life and get a newer vehicle. That's fine. The opportunity cost of that is that you don't invest as much. So if you just invested it all, the opportunity cost of that is that you don't get a newer vehicle. And so I don't know how, like, I wouldn't give a rat's behind about getting a newer vehicle. So I don't know about you. Apparently, since you're thinking about doing it, since you would like to do it, I suppose it's somewhat important to you, but that's going to come at the cost of investing. You're not going to invest the money that you save for a newer vehicle. And so you have to make that decision on there. The one thing that can happen is that you invest the same amount of money, the same money, the total, like this amount that you have extra, 100% of that, right? You can't put both into both. You can't put that money into 100% of that money into each thing. It has to be 50-50 or whatever balance you choose. And so I would decide what's more important. And that's how you figure that out. What time is it? Oh, all right. Dealing with extra major expense every month. Well, so you see, some of those you have to say no to. I understand if it's something that is 100% necessary, but if it's not, then you don't do it. Like, for example, if you didn't budget enough for Christmas, that's tough. You know, you don't spend more than that, and you learn better and you budget a little bit more, or you just are fine with not spending that much. So let's see if they give any examples of the things, the extra major expenses per month. I have to assume that my wife and I are not unique. Nope. And that we have a major $1,000 plus additional expense, generally a car repair or medical, somehow come up pretty much every month. That's probably a little more bad luck than average. I apparently threw off that average because I'm trying to remember. Like, we definitely didn't have anything like coming up every month that extra in that price range. $1,000. No, nowhere near that. Fortunately. Now, did we have some high price expenses that we had to put in the budget, cash flow? Yes, but as far as the stuff coming up pretty much every month, that was a nar. This generally means that not only are we not saving everything, but our emergency fund slowly disappears. If it's an emergency, see, a major 1,000 plus additional expense. If it's an emergency, yes. If it's a car repair, if the car is safe to drive without that repair, you can put that off while you save the money for do that. If the medical thing also can be put off, I mean, if you have to go to the emergency room, you don't do that. Or you just, you can think your fractured humerus is just a stinger and not go to the emergency room for 3 days. You can do that. I would not advise that though. Also, don't walk backwards on the stairs just because it hurts your legs less after you've overused them. Going up and downstairs, filling a U-Haul truck with boxes, and then doing the opposite. So don't do any of that. Learn from, see, you don't have to do that. Just like the Ramsey stuff, the loans were bad news for him, and so I don't have to do that. I mean, I had loans too, as well, and I did that, but eventually I stopped doing it, figured it out. Everybody does stupid in some way or another. Nobody's perfect. Where was I? Oh no, but emergency fund slowly disappears. So yeah, again, people do be dipping in that emergency fund a lot for things that aren't emergencies. I'm sure. It's the same. It goes hand in hand with the thing that what was I saying? Lost my mind. But I shouldn't have done the hand thing. That brought me out, as my mom used to say. German, so English second language, and so she would say, "You brought me out." I mean, meaning I made her forget something. Not only saving anything, but all emergency fund. Oh, hand in hand with the need overuse of the word need. We needed to do that. Nope, you chose to do it. Just like that, the other person, you don't need to upgrade the car, but wants to, and that's fine on baby step 5. But then if you're gonna do that, then you can't also invest that money. Let's see. My wife is already generally opposed to budgeting. Well, that do happen. Princess syndrome, and believes that if the bills are paid, we are doing fine. Yep, that's very normal. And especially, dude, if you found Mr. Ramsey after you guys got married and you were fine with all of her bullcrap before and you were the same, if not worse, you need to be given major grace now. Just because you found the right thing to do now doesn't mean that, oh, well, I don't know what you can't be like that. You have to give her grace, and you have to compromise on financial issues if you're going to stay together. This is doubly true, doubling it. If I request that we put $1,000 line item, which would represent nearly half of our discretionary spending, into our budget for unexpected expenses. Well, again, so you see, a friend of mine has a wife that does not, that is generally opposed to budgeting, and may also believe that if the bills are paid, we're doing fine. I'm not aware of that part of it, but generally, the wife would be spending extra stuff, regardless of whether it was in the budget or not. And all the stuff that I heard about from him was not an emergency. And so then, that would mean you don't do it if you're sticking to the budget, but she doesn't want to do a budget, apparently, in both cases here. So yeah, you don't put $1,000 line item just because things have come up. You be more proactive so that things don't come up. I get it. If you have a car tire blowout, as I have had recently. Fortunately, it didn't blow out. It was a slow leak, so it wasn't crazy, and didn't cause an accident or anything like that. But yeah, you got to get a new tire, and so that can come up. Now, you don't have to buy did I buy a brand new tire for that? No, I did not. So you can limit the amount of expense on something. And people do justify, well, if it costs more, it's better, blah, 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 it'll last longer, blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, do you want to get out of debt? Do you want to get further up the baby steps to the higher numbers? Do you want to do that? Well, then you got to stop being dumb about it. If it's an emergency, fine, it comes out of your emergency fund, and then you got to rebuild the emergency fund. That's the way it goes. But some of this stuff, I would love to know, because he gave the generally a car repair or medical. Like, we have both of those. And so, and how long of a period does that happen? Has that happened for a year yet? Or I'm dealing with an extra major expense every month, and it's just happened 2 months. One time was a car repair, and the other was a medical expense, and both of those came up 2 months in a row. And so we're only going on a 2-month sample, though. So that's not really being realistic. That's intellectual dishonesty. You're being intellectually dishonest with yourself there if you're judging by that. And people do love to exaggerate. You know, when maybe it's 3 times in the year, they can say, you know, we have extra major expense every month, and it happened 3 times in a year. So you know, we don't know. We can't. You know, there's no back and forth here, so we can't find out. 34 comments. Not gonna look for those just in case somebody else asking, because that's not really the subject of it. That's just what I got off on a tangent on. But yeah, you would have to, if you are gonna have those things happening, you wouldn't. Okay. Hey, I got a great idea. It doesn't say what baby step. Emergency fund slowly disappears. I was already generally opposed to budgeting. Our bills, we're doing fine. That's doubly true if I request put $1,000 line item, which is half of our discretionary spending. $2,000 in discretionary spending. That sounds like that already might have been a compromise, because there wouldn't be any. It depends on the baby step you're on. So it doesn't say that. So that would be good to know. I guess I will. I'm curious enough to see. Looking for the blue OP. That would be about right there. There's one. Guys, I would love it if my wife would get on board. Don't blaspheme, for one thing. Get on board with this. Yeah, she won't do it. Okay, so you got to compromise then. Don't be dumb and be so cute with your I wish you would get on it. I want to do it. This is the right way to do, and this is the only way to do it. That's not how marriages work, sir. We've averaged spending $1,000 more than, how about THAN? Because I'm already mad at you, so of course I'm going to call out you're putting then there. We've made per month in the last 2.5 years. Okay? So again, all that was an emergency, so all that didn't have to be done. You're just mad at her for spending. When I say that, let me preface that we spend almost no money on ourselves, going to restaurants or other frivolous spending. Great. So what is it? My wife frequently buys lunch at work, which drives me insane. Yep. But that's it. Yeah. So that's going to count. There shouldn't be any of that if you're on step 2. We still don't know what step on though. So that does make a difference. Everything else, maybe I wouldn't have done it because I know where we are financially, but it's all reasonable. Well, reasonable is subjective between one person and another. But on step 2, you're not buying all the things that ladies like to buy. Now, don't come after me, ladies, because I know men's like to spend money on dumb stuff too, like trucks and things like that. And I like to spend money on computer stuff for sure. But I know a lady that has like 8,000 live, laugh, love signs in her house. Just saying. Let's see, everything else. I try to hashtag mention it. I wonder if this is my friend. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I try to mention it, but my wife fundamentally refuses to believe we have a problem if the bills are paid. This week, I actually got a Rocket Money subscription because if you go paid, you can share the account with your spouse. She said, and yes, she was semi-joking, but she said she would prefer to keep her head in the sand. Yeah. If you don't know there's a problem, you keep doing what you're doing and it doesn't affect you, and you have to make it become an issue. I've tried the dream talk. Yeah, that doesn't work either with these kind of people. But she just acts like I'm trying to force her into something constrictive, right? And she don't want any of it. Exactly. I talked about how scared I was, and we finally chopped up the credit cards. Oh, that's great that you did that. But other than that, I mean, are they still on the Amazon account and such, even though they're chopped up? Are the accounts closed? That would be the next thing to do. But other than that, I just can't get through. A couple of weeks ago, she talked about a trip she wants to do with our kids, of course, this summer. I said, where the heck are we going to get the money for that? If you want to do that, we can actually save for it. Conversation just died. Yeah, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to do it. Theoretically, she would be seeing that it is, if she were doing it, she's doing it wrong too, obviously, but you're doing it wrong because you're just expecting her to get on board because it's the right thing to do. I do believe, along with you, that the Ramsey advice is the right thing to do with your finances. But the way you're going about it, that's what happens so much of the time. One spouse will find out about Mr. Ramsey and they will get all into it and they will decide in their head, oh, this is the exact right thing to do. And that's what we're going to do and not consult the other spouse. So, and then when they do present Mr. Ramsey's ideas to the spouse, it's like, knocking them over with a bowling ball. They don't just come in and say, okay, let's take it. I want to tell you about this, about it, and can make our finances infinitely better, like that. You're just, no, here's what we're going to do. We're going to blah, 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 like that. So, and people can feel overwhelmed. Now, on the other hand, as I was going to say, what she should be able to see, you would think, would be able to see, because she should know you better than I do, and I think I know how important this is to you. But then again, maybe because the conversation doesn't go anywhere, maybe you don't talk about it as much as you should to get through to her that this is very important to you. So she should recognize that it's very important to you and then say, oh, well, we're going to have to compromise on this then. And so, probably here's where we go with the average couple advice here. Communicate first. And that doesn't mean assuming she knows everything about the Ramsey stuff or whatever, or knows how important it is to you. So first, communicate. Second, compromise. And the compromise, that supersedes any of the baby steps of the Ramsey advice. It's whatever you can agree to. Now, theoretically, it would still be a net positive as you go on a compromised baby steps. That would still get you in a better place faster than if you did nothing. But of course, it's not going to happen as fast as it does if you follow the baby steps as they are written. And all the advice as it is has been determined by Mr. Ramsey. So yeah, where was I? Communicate, compromise, and if you have a problem doing either of those two, then that's time for counseling. So yeah, this is a big deal, and who knows if there's anything in the background that is also involved in this. Because the money stuff is often a symptom of something else. So definitely counseling in this case. And so, but even you, again, it depends on what baby step you're on. You would think in step 7 you wouldn't be as worried about everything, but we don't have any idea what step these people are in. But $2,000 of discretionary spending, again, that would sound like that would already be a compromise. So you would start out with the, fully budgeted thing. And so, to do anything, you are going to have to agree to some kind, to move forward to some kind of budget, to some kind of limitations on you, some kind of restrictions on you, wife. I'm sorry about that. So that's not, I wouldn't tell him to say that to her, but that's the case. That's what I'm saying about wife. Because I don't know her name. So I have to say wife. So yeah, so that's the dealio on that. You know, I mean, it's very sad. It's very sad, and you know, people just don't. Couples just don't talk that much. They don't communicate that stuff, or if they do, then not about the important stuff. Because you know the guy here is probably beaten down because he always gets back the same thing. She doesn't want to be restricted, and the conversation dies. Guess what? Conversation doesn't die unless you stop talking. So that's you. That's on you too. So a bunch of this is on you, but it's on her as well. So that again, you're not trying to keep score. Don't try to keep score in a relationship. So that's bad to do. It's rough. So yeah, got to compromise. And you know, you're not going to like it, but you know, being able to compromise on that would be better. And once again, as I said, $2,000 of discretionary spending, you better not be on step 2 for that. My goodness gracious me. I mean, because if that is that much already, you've already compromised for her without her even having to ask specifically. So you need to do that budget, even if it has extra money. But again, the problem with these people is that they just don't want any restriction, even $2,000 of it. And he may be spending a good chunk of that as well, that $2,000. So it could be on him. There's a lot of information that we don't have here, but 2,000 of discretionary spending. I mean, you would have to be for that much. I would say you would have to be on step 7 to do that. And so it doesn't sound like they are, but we have no idea what it. I guess I didn't scroll down further to see if, I mean, hashtag mentioned baby steps. Did that. Boom, 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 boom. Any more OP? Yeah, I'm taking longer on this because this, of course, is the last one because I've done well over an hour, coming up on an hour and a half. Thanks to everybody that's watching. Much appreciated, even if you aren't typing in the chat. Okay, yep. So no further information on that. So no closure on that. But hopefully some of these 34 comments gave them good advice and gave this husband good advice. And so hopefully he can try to fix that issue with his wife, and they can do it together. And we'll get this question about baby step 2 on Monday. Once again, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems, you can schedule a free, yes, free, I said free, financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can ask me about financial questions, anything on my YouTube channel, or anything else on your mind. Donations, you can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. Walmart gift card to, coachstevemoney at gmail.com. Upcoming streams, the Ramsey Show Aftershow show until further notice, Monday through Friday, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, right after the Ramsey Show goes off of YouTube. That's when I start up. Alrighty, hope everybody has a lovely weekend, or lovely whenever you're watching this. Much appreciated. Again, please subscribe, like, that's the thumbs up button, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day. Oh, let's see. Whoops. Rowan. Sorry about that, Rowan. Didn't see it. Emergency funds slowly disappear. It sounds like they're not on the same page with finances. It also sounds like they don't have things in the budget that should be in the budget. Could be, Rowan. That's a good point. For this situation, what would you generally recommend? Okay, I said everything I would recommend. So hopefully Rowan got that. Sorry about that I ignored you for 6:26 for 22 minutes. So maybe didn't stay long enough. Hopefully stayed long enough because thinking I would be done there eventually. Alrighty. All right. Again, thanks for watching and staying on this extra time for this little bit. And now I got to try to figure out when to stop the stream. Just got to listen when I get up to the part. Whoops. So I'm going to do it now.